What is going on, Pats Nation? You guys already know who it is. Patriots Global back here with another video. And in this one, guys, the season just ended. The season literally just ended yesterday, or by the time you guys watch this video, it's probably going to be 2 days ago. And we already have rumors circulating around this team. This is why I love the offseason. This is why I love the moment after week 18, because Monday hit and several head coaches were fired, defensive coordinators were fired, offensive coordinators were fired. We already had Bill Belichick's first meeting with Robert Kraft, and there's supposedly going to be a second one, which is going to determine the future of Bill Belichick. We're not going to talk about that in today's video. I got a whole separate video that's going to be coming out talking about what we learned from that first meeting between Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick. But we already got some rumors circulating around the New England Patriots just 2 days after their season finale loss to the New York Jets at home. And that is that former Patriots offensive coordinator, Josh McDaniels, who had 2 stints with the New England Patriots. One in which he ended up then going to be the head coach for the Denver Broncos before getting fired and then coming back and coaching as offensive coordinator again. And then just a few years ago, leaving the Patriots after the 2021 season as their offensive coordinator to be the head coach for the Las Vegas Raiders, which, as we all know, didn't pan out for him too well. But supposedly, according to The Athletic, as they're being sourced, Josh McDaniels could be returning to New England, but only if Bill Belichick is still on this team. Let's roll that Patriots Global intro and talk about everything we know about this story. Is it something that the Patriots should do? Is this realistic? And what are my thoughts about it? So I think this first off starts with Bill Belichick, okay? Bill Belichick is clearly getting a second meeting with Robert Kraft. So with that being said, he clearly is being given the chance to have a complete plan for what he would do if he is the head coach for the Patriots this offseason and for next season for 2024. What would his game plan be? What's the plan to get this team back into contention? And to make sure that something that happened the last 2 seasons, especially this past year, does not happen again. Okay, guys, we in a recent video talked about how the Patriots drama is a lot worse than what we thought from this 2023 season. And a lot of it came from Belichick. A lot of it came from the coaching staff. Watch that video if you haven't already to get an idea of exactly what I'm talking about. But maybe part of Belichick's plan was to bring back Josh McDaniels. Now, here's what The Athletic said. The Athletic said that, and I quote, part of the plan, as in part of the plan for Bill Belichick if he stays here, part of the plan may include a reunion with former Patriots offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels, who is considered a candidate to return, sources tell close to the situation. Now, this is something that would make a lot of sense. Josh McDaniels was originally fired back in October with the Las Vegas Raiders, and he deserved to be fired after 2 seasons. And the Patriots probably won't have to give him a lot of money, okay? He was still under contract for the Raiders. He is still going to get a mass amount of money from the Raiders despite being fired. And this is what the Patriots love to do, right? The Patriots love to have players and coaches go elsewhere, not perform as well, get either released or get fired, and then bring them back on a minimal contract because the other team still has to pay the contract that they're owed. And I could see that being the same thing here with Josh McDaniels, to where he comes back, but he comes back on a low budget contract, which is why Robert Kraft would be all for it. But not only would Robert Kraft be all for it because he wouldn't have to give McDaniels much, but we know that Robert Kraft still believes in kind of these for lack of better words, roots among the Patriots organization, the Patriot way over the last 2 decades, right? He likes to build from within. And if he has an opportunity to bring back a former coach, he wants to do so. He has a great relationship with Robert Kraft. It was reported that apparently Josh McDaniels is one of Robert Kraft's favorite coaches that he's worked with. They were very close. We all know that. But Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels are also very close. I think that no matter where Belichick goes next year, Josh McDaniels is going to follow him. The question mark is just, is it with the Patriots or is it another organization? The big question is going to come up to, what is his role going to be? Does this mean if they bring him back that there's two offensive coordinators? Does this mean that there's two voices now offensively in the locker room on game day? What does this mean for Bill O'Brien? And look, between his two stints, Josh McDaniels, his two stints with the Patriots, he spent 19 total seasons here in New England. Okay, Robert Kraft, Belichick, they will find a way to get him involved. This is kind of like the same scenario that they had with Matt Patricia a few years ago, right? Matt Patricia, the defensive coordinator for the New England Patriots for many, many years. He ends up getting a head coaching job for the Detroit Lions, spends a few years there before ultimately getting fired because he was a terrible, terrible coach. And then the Patriots bring him back. But they already had people defensively calling plays. They didn't need him as a defensive coordinator. He didn't step back into the same role. And many questioned what his role was going to be when they brought him back. And essentially, he was a guy kind of in the front office. I forget what his exact role was at the time, but it wasn't a positional coach, right? A couple years later, Matt Patricia ends up becoming the New England Patriots offensive coordinator because there was a position on the staff that needed to be filled. And Belichick said, "You've been here for many years. You are a guy I trust. This is why I brought you back. You're in charge of the offense." Before ultimately that didn't work out, and Kraft said that he needed to fire Matt Patricia. I could see that being the same exact thing here for Josh McDaniels, okay? You cannot name him as offensive coordinator. The only way that you can name Josh McDaniels as your offensive coordinator is if you're letting go of Bill O'Brien. And I don't think that they should be letting go of Bill O'Brien. I thought we saw some positive aspects to Bill O'Brien. But at the same time, too, just like most players on the offense, just like the quarterbacks on this offense, you really can't take too much away from how they played because of the circumstances. And we know because of the rumors that came out about what was going on in the locker room in this 2023 season, that Bill O'Brien was already very upset. He wasn't the only coach, but he was one of the coaches that was very, very upset. He didn't get to bring in the coaching staff he wanted. What Bill O'Brien wanted to do was come here, be the offensive coordinator, and essentially reset this staff, okay? He wanted a new offensive line coach. He wanted a new running back coach. He wanted a new wide receiver coach, and he brought a tight end coach with him because the Patriots needed to fill that hole. But he did not get to reset the offensive coaching staff like he wanted because Bill Belichick did not allow him to. I genuinely wonder how much say Bill O'Brien actually got both in free agency in the draft. He didn't get the coaching staff he wanted, and it wouldn't surprise me if he did not get the players that he wanted to build his offense. If you are the offensive coordinator, then you need to be making the coaching decisions and the personnel decisions, okay? And now maybe he shouldn't be in the locker room and signing the contracts or whatnot, or the draft room rather, or signing the contracts, but he needs to have a say because he's the guy calling the plays. What Belichick needed to do with Bill O'Brien this past season was the exact same thing that he did when Josh McDaniels was here for the longest time as offensive coordinator, right? And what that was is that Bill Belichick barely touched the Patriots offense. Bill was always so devoted to the defense because he just let Josh McDaniels touch the offense. He trusted him enough and let him go ahead and do his thing. He didn't need to call plays. He really didn't need to check in on the offense. But when Josh McDaniels left, Bill Belichick had to start making offense more of a priority. And ever since then, even this past year with Bill O'Brien back into the mix, he still has not let go of the ropes offensively, and he needs to. I really wonder what Bill O'Brien could look like if he's actually given the ropes to the show. We know that he can be an offensive mastermind. They just need to trust him enough to actually do it. The truth of the matter is that because of the Patriots' offensive struggles over the last two seasons, that's why they've been below 500. Even if we look at this past season in 2023, the New England Patriots finished 31st in scoring with 13.9 points per game, and ranked rather, is their worst ranking since the NFL expanded to 32 teams all the way back in 2002. It's a problem. I just think that if you're going to bring back Josh McDaniels, you cannot have too many people offensively. There needs to be one body, there needs to be one voice offensively for these guys to listen to. Because the truth of the matter is that Bill O'Brien, Josh McDaniels, those are guys that both want to have it their way. Those are strong-headed, strong-minded coaches who have a loud voice. And if they're dictating each other, right? If they're you have Bill O'Brien and then you have Josh McDaniels both wanting different things and telling players to do this thing one way and then that thing the other, and they're colliding, it is going to cause the same effect that we've seen over the last 2 years with lack of production because of confusion to the players and because of things just ultimately being way too complicated and not clear, not having everybody on the same page. To me, I'm just not sure what the role for Josh McDaniels is ultimately going to be. And I'm sure that they can find a role. Maybe it's quarterback coach, right? Would Josh McDaniels be okay with that role? That would just need to be seen, but maybe that's the role for him. Josh McDaniels is a very smart coach, especially when it came to developing quarterbacks. I don't think that it's ironic that the 1 year, in Mac Jones' rookie year, he actually looked good with Josh McDaniels. And then, of course, McDaniels leaves. The Patriots don't give him a quarterback's coach or a offensive coordinator that can really help develop him. Maybe that would be his role. But if they do bring him back, that needs to be his role only. This still needs to be Bill O'Brien's show, Bill O'Brien's voice, and Bill O'Brien's voice only. And for those saying maybe they move on from Bill O'Brien, I also don't see that happening. Lives in Boston. This is his home. I don't see him coming in for one season and then uplifting his family again. He's done that too many times over the last couple of years, having his family move on a yearly basis. He wants to be here. I think when the Patriots signed him, they promised he'd be here for a few years, and I think they're going to stick by it. Bill O'Brien wants to pass the ball first. His offense is going to be centered around a pass-first offense. And that is something that I actually like and I completely agree with. They just need to build around that offensive scheme well enough for it to actually work out. But what are your guys' thoughts here about Josh McDaniels and the rumors that he could be returning to the New England Patriots this offseason? Let me know in the comment section below. Remember to leave a big like on this video and, of course, subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news and coverage and rumors. But as always, I appreciate you guys so much for watching. And never forget, go Pats.